If you've been following this channel, you know what obeying yourself means. Doing what you should do versus what you want to do. And you know that's harder than it sounds, because most of the time, what you should do and what you feel like doing are two very different things. But I want to ask you something today. Before we talk about discipline, before we talk about pushing through, do you actually know what you're pushing through? Do you know specifically what's stopping you? Because most people don't. They feel stuck, they feel like they're failing themselves, but they can't name exactly why. So they try generic solutions to problems they don't really understand, and nothing changes. That ends today. We are all walking contradictions. You can be funny and obnoxious, disciplined and completely chaotic, warm with people and impossible when someone crosses a line. To some people, you're the best person in the room. To others, you're difficult. It's still you. All of it is you. That complexity is not a flaw. That's what makes you human. If you don't understand it, it runs you. Your patterns run you. Your blind spot run you. The parts of yourself you haven't looked at honestly, they make your decisions for you. And you keep ending up in the same place wondering why. Obeying yourself requires knowing yourself, really knowing yourself. Not the version you prefer, the full version. So I went looking for a tool that could give me that. Something precise, something honest, something that wouldn't just tell me what I wanted to hear. I combined two things I'm passionate about, astrology and psychology. I took my birth chart, passed it into Claude AI, and asked it to analyze my psychological profile based on the Big Five, the 5 personality areas that psychologists use to understand how people really operate. Openness, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. What came back was not a pleasant surprise, it was a mirror. And mirrors don't flatter you, they show you what's actually there, including the things you've been quietly aware of but never wanted to look at directly. I'm going to share mine openly, not because this is about me, but because when you see someone else's truth clearly, it gives you permission to look at your own. Openness. I score very high. I'm always learning, always exploring, always connecting ideas. And yes, that's a real strength. This channel exists because of it. But here's what high openness actually costs me. Because I love learning and developing so much, I can spend a lot of time preparing and very little time doing. New ideas excite me, doing the same thing repeatedly bores me, and obeying yourself often means doing the same right thing over and over, even when it stops feeling new. If you score high here too, ask yourself honestly, are you still learning when you should already be doing? Because understanding something is not the same thing as doing something. And at some point, preparing becomes the most sophisticated way of avoiding. Conscientiousness. I got a split score here, very high standards, but real difficulty starting. My standards are so high they become overwhelming before I've even begun. This channel is my most honest example. Without my brother calling me every day, pushing me to post, I would still be in my head. I film way more than I post. When I do post, I'm already frustrated with the quality. I rarely watch my own videos back. Perfectionism is not the strength it pretends to be. It's fear wearing a very convincing disguise. Fear that what comes won't match what is in your head, so you delay, you wait for readiness that never fully arrives. If this is you, nothing is wrong with you, but understand what's really happening. You are not lazy, you are stopped by a standard that moves every time you get close to it. Done and imperfect beats perfect and invisible every single time. Schedule it, put it in your calendar, do it when the time comes, regardless of how ready you feel. That is what obeying yourself looks like here. Not inspiration, commitment. Extraversion. You see me here, you probably think extrovert, confident, natural. That's not who I am. I'm shy, genuinely. Very few people who really know me know that. I'm private, putting myself out there goes against something deep in me. What you see is not the absence of that shyness, it's me pushing through it every single time because I know where I want to go and I know what it takes to get there. It cost me years of not putting myself there because I waited to feel confident. The confidence never came first, I just stopped letting the shyness decide. If you're waiting to feel confident before you start, you'll wait forever. Confidence doesn't come before the action, it comes from it. Agreeableness. This one surprised me. I thought I was agreeable. I'm warm, people feel comfortable around me. I genuinely care about people. But my chart was honest with me in a way I haven't been with myself. I'm low on compliance. If something doesn't make sense to me, if I feel someone is serving their own interests at my expense, if something feels unjust, I become very disagreeable, fast, and not always in a most diplomatic way. In the context of obeying yourself, this matters. There is an art to holding your position without destroying the relationship. I know what I stand for, that part I have. What I'm still working on is how to stand there without burning everything around me. That's my work here. Maybe it's yours too. Neuroticism. There is a voice inside me. I'm going to guess you have one too. Mine says I'm not far enough along, that others are moving faster than me, that what I've built isn't enough, that maybe I'm just not good enough. That voice, psychologists call it neuroticism. It's a tendency to be emotionally hard on yourself, to fill the gap between where you are and where you want to be so intensely that it stops you from moving forward instead of pushing you forward. It's self-doubt, it's anxiety, it's the feeling that no matter what you do, it's never quite enough. I have it, and if you're honest with yourself, you probably recognize it too. What my chart showed me is where that voice came from. Early in my life, the people around me couldn't see what I was capable of. Not because they were bad people, they just couldn't recognize it. So I grew up not fully trusting myself, not fully believing in what I saw in myself. And that became a voice inside me that kept saying, "You're not enough yet." And it stayed long after those days were gone. Here's what I want you to know now. That voice is not the truth. It is just an old habit of thinking. And the only way to deal with it is not to wait for it to stop before you act, because it won't stop. The work is move away to do what you need to do while that voice is still running in the background. That is what real discipline looks like. Not feeling confident, not feeling ready, acting anyway in spite of that doubt. That is obeying yourself at its hardest and most powerful. I'm sharing all this because I want you to understand one thing. Your struggles are not random. Your patterns are not accidents. The specific ways you stop yourself, the specific moments you can't push through, they have a structure. When you understand that structure, you stop being controlled by it. And you start working with yourself deliberately instead of against yourself constantly. You cannot obey yourself blindly. You have to know what you're obeying and what you're fighting against. That requires a kind of honest self-knowledge most people spend their whole lives avoiding because it's uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable. I won't pretend otherwise, but the discomfort of knowing yourself is nothing compared to the cost of not knowing yourself. Not knowing yourself means spending years working against your own nature without understanding why. Here's what I want you to do. Get your birth chart for free. Google free birth chart, add your birth date, your exact time of birth, and your place of birth. Take what you get and paste it into an AI tool. Ask it, give me my big 5 psychological profile based on my birth chart, strengths, weaknesses, and what I need to work on. Then read it slowly, not looking for what feels good, looking for what feels true, especially what you'd rather not see. For each area, ask yourself 3 things. Where is this strength and am I really using it? Where is this weakness showing up in my life right now? And what does obeying myself look like here? What is the one thing I keep avoiding that I already know I need to do? Because obeying yourself is never the comfortable choice. It never feels easy in the moment, but it is always, always the thing you already know is right. Now go find out specifically what's in your way and then do it anyway.